Well, hello, and welcome back, y'all. Today's episode is brought to you by the letter N. And this one's gonna be a little weird. I couldn't figure out how to do the N, even though I have the graph paper there, but it's still, obviously, the first round didn't take, so I had to do a little bit of adjusting. But I figured it out, and it looks pretty good. Then I had to decide how I wanted to do the layout. And the only way that I can usually do that is if I start laying down furniture pieces and doors to try to figure out what's going to fit where, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. Can they get to the bathroom without having to go through the office kind of thing. So I kind of figured that out as I went. And once I did, it was fine. I think it looked really, really good. But then I had to figure out, okay, the porch and the patio. And oh my God, the patio took me so long. I could not get that angled piece in there properly. I had to go back and forth and eventually just delete the whole thing and then just start all over. And then I finally, obviously, was able to get it. But it was driving me nuts. And then, of course, I realized, oh my God, I can't put the stairs on an angle. They have to go straight. And then the pool. Oh my God, the pool. I couldn't figure out the pool. I knew I wanted a pool, but the fence was making it almost impossible to have the pool. So I was back and forth with all of this stuff in the backyard and where the house was being placed, if I needed to move it up, if I needed to move it back. I was just in crazy land for a minute trying to figure it out. And eventually I just said, forget the fence. We don't need the stupid fence. It's fine. And usually at this point, I would go back inside the house and start decorating the inside of the house. But I knew that I needed to make sure that the exterior was figured out before I could go inside. So that's what I was doing, was trying to figure out how the outside was going to be done to make sure that I had enough space to get everything done outside. And, I'll move the pool and all of that, as you saw. But then the roof, oh my God, the roof. Why is the roof always so dang hard? When there's angles, why is it so hard? I don't understand. I know I'm not the only one that has trouble with this. But I figured out something. And I was like, you know what? Forget the angled roof part. Let's just take that out completely. It doesn't need to have a cover. It's fine. They'll live, no problem. And I ended up just taking out the whole angle bit that I struggled with for so long, and I took it away. All that work for absolutely nothing. I was so mad at myself for that, but whatever, it doesn't matter. It worked out in the end, and that's what's important. But I kept on, going back and forth with so much stuff, like we all do when we build, trying to figure out what's more aesthetically pleasing and what isn't. And I got to the point where I was like, okay, I feel comfortable now that I can go inside the house and try to figure out what's going to go where after I, adjusted the windows and everything. But here in a minute, you're going to see the final thing. You're going to see everything done and complete. I do end up redoing the exterior walls, and I like it much better with the last choice that I made. So I'll see you in a bit. Don't go anywhere. Just blink. And here we are, all done. I love the interior of this home. The exterior took me a little while, as far as, well, this front wall here, because it looked so bare. It looked really, really bad. So I added some ivy, some of these pieces, and these ivy pieces that you can find under wall sculptures, which I always have trouble finding. I did make some of these a little bit smaller, a little bit bigger, and just kind of flopped them around somewhere where they look halfway decent. So the thumbnail looks better, because before it looked really, really bad. It just looked so barren, and I had to fix it. I did add a little bit of bushes, added a tree there and a tree in the back, added a corbel here in this corner and a corbel in the back ends as well. Then I added, of course, terrain paint. I've got some planter pots here to do some gardening, a workshop table, picnic table with a grill, pool with, I know this is an ottoman, but I like to use it to store pool supplies. Now, I know these leaves in reality would all be falling into the pool, and it's going to be a mess, it's going to be a disaster, and it's going to be expensive to clean up. But We're not in reality, we're in simality. So we're just going to leave that there. I did test everything, and everything does work. Everything is lit up properly, so you can see outside and inside. This is fun. This little mailbox here, it looks like a Kit Kat. Isn't that cute? I never knew about that swatch. I was just looking for a white swatch, and I saw that one. I was like, okay, yeah, that's it. I have to have that swatch. So here we are on the porch. We do have a chess table with a little plant over there. And back here by the mailbox, there's also a plant. I do believe the mail carrier can get to this mailbox, no problem. We go in through this door here, and this is the house. Off to the right, you have the living room. I love the ceiling. I think the ceiling looks amazing. Over here is the living room. She does have a little Kit Kat. I added that at the very last minute, mind you, but there's some cross-stitching and knitting. I wanted to throw in a few more activity items, so whatever sim you play in this house with, if you do, will have the ability to grow their skills and whatnot. If we go back to towards the door, here's the main hallway. Off to the left, we have a dining room. The dining room's a little less cluttered, I suppose, than most of the other rooms, but I think it works out just fine. Love these chandeliers, I believe from Life and Death. We've got this little table over here with some cookies and a little coffee or tea container thingy. And through this archway we have the office. And here's Miss Crabapple. What is she doing? I don't know what she's doing, but she's online. There's a little desk from Comfy Gamer, as well as this little credenza from Comfy Gamer as well. Some decor and some books with some decor on the bookshelves as well. And I do love this picture. I think this picture is so cool. This wallpaper, I believe, is also from Life and Death, is beautiful. I love that wallpaper. Anyway, we go back out here. If we go through the dining room, you go into the kitchen. Now, the kitchen is quite a large room, but we interrupt your regularly scheduled program to remind you to hit that like button, leave your comments, questions, and suggestions down below, hit that subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget that notification bell. Now back to your regularly scheduled program. Ms. Crabapple loves to cook. She loves to bake. She has to work on those skills, but she does love doing it. She's just not good at it yet. This little container here is under the shelf category, and I made it smaller by 2 and raised it up with my 9 key so I could place it. I also manually placed the cookbook and the utensils. I think that's all I placed. These two counters here overlap each other, so even if this little corner here is chock full of stuff, it doesn't matter. They're not going to be able to use it anyways. And then, of course, your little tea kettle there. The curtains, I made them smaller by 2, I believe, so that they could slot onto the curtains properly. I like how they look. This one was made smaller by 1. It does clip into the counter, but we're just going to pretend that doesn't happen. We've got some pots on the wall and some aprons. I also added the fork and spoon just now because I forgot. So, some wall decor. I love this peacock one, and it works so well in this hallway. I have to say, I really, really liked it. Now, if we go into the main bedroom or the only bedroom, there isn't a lot of clutter. I couldn't figure out what to do, to be honest. However, I do think that the way it is, as is, I don't think it's very bad. I think it's fine. We're just going to say she likes a very simple bedroom, and that's exactly what she has. So we'll just blame it on Mrs. Crabapple, not me. It's just what she wants. And then we go in here. Here is the bathroom. I love how this bathroom turned out. 99% of this is sleek bathroom kit. Love that bathroom kit. It is the best bathroom stuff I have seen so far. That's not a mod, that is, or CC, excuse me. But we do have the kitty litter box there, as well as a shower with all the amenities, curtains as well, some towels and mirrors, as well as a washboard, or not a washboard, what is that? An ironing board. And then a little linen cabinet there, because this was a giant bathroom and I had to figure out how to make it all work and not make it look so empty. So now it doesn't look so empty because I filled it up. If we go outside, as you see, this is the outside. Yay! That's so exciting, I know. This awning here over the stairs, this was troublesome for me because this, without that, it just looked so weird. So I had to put something there. I pulled this from the wall sculptures section and I added this corbel here. But because this is on a corner, the only way I could place it exactly where I wanted was to add a wall right here. Use my Alt key to place it exactly where I wanted it and then remove the wall. Now for the ceiling fan out back here on the patio, I also have a tiny saucer light in here in the center as well, so that there is more light out here to eat. You can always change the picnic table to like a regular table if you want. That's fine. You can take all this ivy down if you want. I mean, it wasn't my first choice, to be honest. I kind of didn't want to do anything up here, but I felt like I needed to. I had to do something. Like I said, it just looked too barren. We've got plenty of light in this house. Nighttime, it's still just as bright, and I love it. The bedroom is a little moody. I kind of like it that way. I really do. And yes, this little awning does kind of go past where the stairs are, but when the roof is up, you can't see it. It doesn't clip underneath or anything like that. It's not going to be a problem. If we look from the top down, the N is still there. I do really like the layout. It didn't take me very long, as you saw, to get it put together, but it did take me a minute to figure out how to lay everything out. The kitchen took me a little bit. I kind of went back and forth on the cabinetry. Once I settled on this and this color, because this was the first room that I did, the rest of the house just kind of fell into place. I didn't want to have furniture or big pieces that were more than just like neutral colors, because I knew I was going to add rugs. If I have some kind of wallpaper that has a design on it or something, and I try to throw down a rug that has a design on it, it doesn't work. My brain cannot comprehend, and my brain says, nope, that doesn't make sense. So I had to leave the walls, I wouldn't say plain and boring, but I did want to leave the walls with like a singular color. That way it was easier to add rugs and whatnot. With, of course, the exception of the kitchen and the bathroom, because that's not a solid color. But I knew that the rugs in there were going to be basically a solid color. So it all worked out. I love Sputnik. Sputnik is one of my favorite lights. It's just so fun. And it's fun to say, isn't it? You got to have a Sputnik like somewhere. But looking at this back here, I feel I need something there. It looks kind of, I know what I'm going to add. I bet you know. I bet you know exactly what I'm going to add. Where's it at? Yep. You guessed it. My wall of plants that is inside the wall that makes it look like they're floating shelves of plants. Yeah, I'm not going to stop doing that. No, I like it too much. Of course, I do forget about it, but, you know, that's another story for another day. What I did forget to do, however, is an outdoor trash can. Where am I going to put it? I don't have anywhere to put it. Uh-oh. I mean, I can't put it here. Huh. Uh-oh. I don't know where I'm going to put the outdoor trash can. What am I going to do? I suppose we can just put it right next to the grill, right? I mean, that wouldn't be so bad. Actually, you know what? Instead of putting it next to the grill, let's move the grill over and put the trash can here in the corner. Put the counter here and the grill next to the counter. There we go. There's still plenty of room to walk through. We have an outdoor trash can, and that is all good to go as soon as I center that a little better. There we go. Okay, I like this. So there you go. You've got the porch right here. You walk in, you have your living room, bathroom, bedroom, kitchen, dining, office, and then back door to the back patio and the pool. So there we go. All good. All done. I hope that you guys like this one. If there's anything that you probably would have done differently, let me know down in the comments below. I am always curious to know your thoughts and preferences, of course. If you want to download the shell, it is under #letter_M_shell, as well as lilmomma and Momma-One. If y'all want to download this build and use it in your gameplay or renovate it, that's fine too. It is under #letter_N_home, also lilmomma, Momma-One, and Alphabet Challenge. So yeah, go ahead, download the shell. Let me know how it goes. Let me know if you upload it to the gallery, and I promise I will go take a look at it and see what y'all did. Because a lot of y'all out there are so creative and come up with ideas that I would have never even dreamed of. And I'm always open to new ideas and new concepts, new ways of doing things, just new, weird, different things. I'm always open to that. So by all means, let me know so I can check it out. And until next time, y'all, have fun.